problems there for Chaz Brook. And this is how it happened, going in and just contact there with the 355 488 car as well of Dale Katichis, and around goes the 383 car of Chaz Brook. So that was a replay of the restart following the safety car. Was there anything there that you saw?
Yeah, the image came so quickly, so I didn't manage to see it.
Drive-through penalty for car number 509, which is the Yancheng Liang car, for causing a collision. And Murat Kuhadaroglu then, as John McGrew is responding. And here comes Alexander Nussbaumer on Murat Kuhadaroglu as well. But John McGrew misses the turn in. So too does Murat Kuhadaroglu. Now, Murat is going to go ahead of McGrew there, because McGrew shortcutted, but actually to a degree so did Murat, but not to the same extent, Tony. So those places will probably remain.
Yeah, it seems like it's a real braking game to the corners now. It seems like drivers who want to overtake another driver, the defending driver wants to take his braking point to the last meter as well, and especially the two chicanes. So the first one, and after Curva Grande, the Secondo Variante, is a real tough places. You can see those front brakes really glowing red. And
here it is in replay then. Murat Kuhadaroglu.
Yeah, this is in the beginning of the race when he overshoot.
Yeah, that's right. And that's a classic example of overdriving.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, the overtaking is a kind of an art game as well. When you overtake a driver, you don't need to pass him by the whole distance of the car, or you don't need to sort of outbrake him by crazy stuff. It's enough to keep the speed, let the car roll side by side going into the corner, and this way you can still do the corner. Sometimes you see a driver that he comes a little bit too far away and wants to do miracles in braking, and often those things doesn't end up well. And this is a perfect example of it, overtaking until the braking, and he cannot stop the car.
So Agi Smolka then in the 186 car trying to get past Alexander Nussbaumer. What I did see as Alexander Nussbaumer just a few moments ago, as he braked and went into the Parabolica, Tony, the back end of the car was very, very loose, because of course you compress the front end of the car. That makes the rear end a bit lighter, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a mix of let's say ride height setup stuff, but also tire pressures. Again, we go to the same thing. Not a lot of dry running. Pressure wise, the teams don't have a clear target on tire pressure. It's a cool morning in Monza, so do you start with a little bit higher pressure and ready for the first part of the race? Do you take a lower tire pressure, takes a few laps, you trust your driver, and he's going to come up with his speed? So those are the two things.
Here comes John McGrew then back against Murat Kuhadaroglu. A little tap between the two of them, but McGrew has got back past Murat Kuhadaroglu. And what this is doing, it's allowing Alexander Nussbaumer and Agi Smolka, the lady racer, to join in. It's becoming a four-way battle for P2 in the race here.
Yeah, this is also playing really in a favor of the leader of the race, because it seems like the cars behind, they do have some more speed on a clear lap, but racing mostly every corner costs them a lot of time defending, so this is really playing for the leader.
When you're in that fight, you cannot be as quick as a clean lap, can you? It's impossibility. So Murat Kuhadaroglu is now ahead, but Agi Smolka has got ahead of Alexander Nussbaumer, and we're on board with Alexander Nussbaumer then, and you can see the display on the left-hand side of your picture here, up into 7th gear now, absolutely flying down through the gearbox, then braking, just missed kissing the apex of the turn, but be absolutely furious that Agata Smolka has managed to get past. So now on the start-finish straight, this is brilliant being on board here as they head up towards the first chicane, I beg your pardon, and Murat Kuhadaroglu once again taking a look at McGrew here. They're side by side. Kuhadaroglu on the inside. McGrew, there's a touch between the two. Well, there's more than a touch. So the door mirrors come off, and this is playing into the hands of Aggie Smolka. So Megru gets pushed back and actually ends up losing 2 places, Tony.
Really aggressive racing. There is little space left between the drivers, but there was also some contact, and the racing and the fighting continues.
And now Aggie Smolka has got past Murat Kuhardaroglu. This is the best drive we've seen from Aggie Smolka for the entire season. Absolutely brilliant. She is now P2 in the world final race. Murat Kuhardaroglu is dropping back down the order. Laurent Demoux is coming into this as well, because as they're fought, it's allowed the battles further back to get even closer, Tony. And we've only got 2.5 minutes of the race left.
It's remarkable to see how much speed some of the drivers have, but at the same time, with the racing, they are losing positions, not optimizing the racing line, not having the best flow of driving, but you know, having a good lap, and now there's a contact.
That was Murat Kuhardaroglu and Laurent Demoux. Laurent Demoux, who had made himself up into P5, and Murat is now off, and you can see the shower of gravel.
I think it's going to be safety car, and probably
that would be declared, wouldn't it? And what a great shame. It's been a weekend of incredible highs for Laurent and incredible lows as well. He is not going to be finishing the world final race, because when you're beached in the gravel like that, it is all over. What a shame. So double waved yellows at turn number 9 then. So the Ascari and, well, Aggie Smolka. What a race she has had. As Tony has indicated, Ingvar Madsson, everything went his way. Once he'd got the overtake done, then they started fighting behind him. He was rubbing his hands with invisible soap, saying "tar very much." Yeah,
exactly. At that stage, only a clean, solid driving was enough, and here we see the contact.
Oh,
this was more or less coming with the driving that there was for after the initial safety car. So this was coming out, and the race direction was not able to put a safety car because we're already on the last lap.
Absolutely. And it looked, just as I could see, the contact with Murat Kuhardaroglu on Laurent Demoux, it looked like he broke a track control arm or something, which is why he ended up in the barriers.
Yeah, exactly. After the contact, he had an issue on his race car.
So Ingvar Madsson then, who has had a stellar season in Coppa Shell, in the AM class throughout Europe, well, for his team, this will be extraordinary. Scuderia Autoropa. Ingvar Madsson then with lots of foliage in the cooling vents at the front, which is, of course, the Monza circuit with lots and lots of trees around, means that leaves all over the place. Now he has this straight and the parabolica to do. Aggie Smolka is chasing, but is a full 4.5 seconds down, barring absolute disaster for Ingvar Madsson. He should have this in the bag. The fight for the final podium place is up for grabs. There was John Megru on the entry to the parabolica. Makes contact with Alexander Nussbaumer. And the checkered flag waves. It's going to be Ingvar Madsson, his world champion. P2, the drive of her life, Aggie Smolka. P3, provisionally, John Megru. And here comes Alexander Nussbaumer, who's limping the car over the line. Extraordinary right at the very end of the race. I have to say I feel a little bit for Nussbaumer there, because Megru was always going to have a go, wasn't he?
Yeah, I would say the theme of this race was a little bit too much optimism going into the braking zones, and wasn't always a fair play. There was some avoidable contacts. Difficult for race direction to issue now penalties that really influence most of the drivers that did have the contact, jeopardize their race. I think for P3 we will have some issues after the race, because it was quite aggressive going into the parabolica, but we are here to commentate and race direction.
Absolutely, and I'm jolly glad about that.
Yeah.
Truthfully, I'm jolly glad about that.
I'm happy that I'm not there right now.
But you are. Yeah. Ingvar Madsson, as I said, he's had an extraordinary season as we look at the 117 car of Dusan Palkra. Extraordinary race, full of drama. And Ingvar Mattson will be on the top step of the podium. We don't think that will be contested in any way, shape or form at all, because he had a race out on his own, truthfully. I also think the absolute race of her career from Aggie Smolka to take P2 in the world final race will be extraordinary. Now, this was Murat Kuhardaroglu really launching Laurent Damouz into the gravel, which is a really bitter end. And a broken track control arm meant that he ended up in the barriers as well. And we can see it from a different angle there. So Ingvar Mattson, then Aggie Smolka and John Magru. So we have North America P3, assuming nothing changes, and Europe's Ingvar Mattson and Aggie Smolka then on the P1 and P2 steps of the podium. So Scuderia Autoropa taking the win with Ingvar Mattson, Agata Smolka P2, and at the moment the provisional classification shows John Magru as taking P3. So great mix there. All the information, of course, at races.ferrari.com. The cars will be in the Parc Fermé, and Ingvar Mattson, I don't know whether you saw last night at the glittering gala dinner that we were at, Tony, and you were very much a part of. Ingvar Mattson, whenever he's on the podium, he's done this little dance thing. And I think the podium celebrations will be very, very good. I think the dance will take on a more intensity. We will see. Cars number 509 and 133 are to report to race control. Well, 133, of course, is